Good evening, Juventini. Happy Diwali. Sorry we're late, but there was no Nonas involved. Things happen. It's totally excusable in this situation. Adrian, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Yes. There was a Nona visit involved. It was, things always run longer. As we were talking, things always take longer than you expect them to, but at least it was spent doing the right thing, So yes,
for sure.
We're here now. We're here now. Excited to talk a little bit of Juve, a little bit of Benfica. It's a huge match, isn't it? It's a big one.
It's big for both of us, really. And that is why it's so exciting for both fans right now, because really it's all on the line. You guys are in a better position, clearly, but you still have to cross the line, right? And this is it.
Yeah, exactly. This is, I haven't even, honestly, I've been so busy looking at other things. I can't even remember what the scenario is. I think a draw is good for us. Is that it? I can't remember.
I think all you need is a draw to clinch.
Yeah, and I hope that we don't play for a draw, which we haven't yet. We haven't done yet because it seems like every time a team does that, they get burned. But, Roger Schmidt, he's a guy that likes to win matches, so I'm sure he will not just sit idly by. And
he has not lost yet. Is that correct?
That is correct. He is still yet to lose, going all the way back to our Champions League qualification matches. So it's been quite the run. It's been really an insane run. I think all of us are just sort of on like playing with house money at this point, like waiting for something to happen. We thought it was going to happen this past weekend when we played against Porto, but I mean, he's still going. He's still calm, cool, and collected. He says all the right things in the press conferences. So it's just, hey, awesome. We're having fun with it,
I'm happy for you. I mean, obviously the beginning of our season was not such like that at all, but for things around. And I mean, we hope, and that came up in the presser today, of course, is are we the team that is going to end this streak of yours? And I guess that's what we're going to discuss. Will it be? Or what are the chances, I suppose? Right?
Yeah, and and the thing is, so Adrian, I don't know if you know this, but like this was like the most trending sound after the Porto game. A lot of Benfica supporters were playing it.
Emotional damage.
What is that even from?
It's a YouTuber. He was like talking. It's like it was like titled Asian Parent. So like whenever we play a game, just boom, emotional damage. So like
is that like OG YouTube like 2004?
No, actually it's quite recent. But I just wanted to. We got some new sound bites. I wanted to debut them a little bit.
Right. Yes, of course, the sound bites. But yeah, so you guys are unbeaten. I think it's 18. So obviously your form is amazing. But now you have Neres back. How big is this for you?
It's huge. Yeah. His absence was massive because we had to shift things around, obviously. Schmidt tried playing or continuing on with that 4-2-3-1. And it didn't really work. So then he ended up switching to a 4-4-2 with Orsnes, who is typically a central midfielder, playing on the left. And as much as I love the guy, as much as he offers in his work rate and, tracking back and helping out on defense and working in the build-up, him in the box is not who you want, really. And you can't really compare him versus what David Neres brings. So having him back, having him come on in that second half against Porto in the match that we finally won at the Regang, it was amazing. They're our bogey team. We always lose to them. It was just really, really encouraging to have him back and see that it looked like he hadn't really missed a step or he wasn't too rusty or anything like that. He was flying at defenders. I mean, you guys saw in our match against you guys, he can take on 2-3 defenders at a time sometimes. He's just got that tight control. He can get out of cul-de-sacs when he needs to. So it's huge. It's huge to have him back. And I'm glad that Schmidt didn't start him against Porto. I think that he took the right approach in bringing him on in the second half and letting him play, against more tired legs because Porto was down a man for a long time, right? So it did feel like a little bit less of a gamble having him come in that second half against the tired legs, and he got some opportunities.
Yeah, it's insane, really, how great he was and how he hasn't missed that stride. Obviously, coming up for us is Pogba and Chiesa, and that is our biggest fear right now. So it's great to hear for us Benfica fans out there that Neres is doing well and has come in hard like that. So I guess we should really watch out because those are the things when you don't really follow a team and you come up against these players that, he's just coming back from injury. He's going to be soft. I guess not. I guess he's coming straight for us. So
he looked very, very good. And that sort of flew in the face of how Benfica has been sort of playing recently, because I found now there's two ways you could look at it. You can look at it as Benfica, losing a couple of players, having to change formation, having to change play style, personnel, etc. And that sort of messed up our rhythm a little bit. You could look at it that way, or you could look at it as we played much more difficult opponents lately. Juventus, PSG, Rio Ave is sort of like a trap team. It's one of those teams where you think you're going to beat them, but they always give you trouble. But we overcame all of these teams, and Porto, even getting the win against Porto in Porto, is huge. So you can look at it as we're playing much more difficult opposition, and we still found a way through to the other side. And now that Neres is coming back, maybe we'll start to look like ourselves again. But when you have a long unbeaten streak like this, I think everyone's sort of watching with one eye, like, is this going to be the match? Is this going to be the match where we finally start to trip up, or that sort of thing? But I feel pretty encouraged. If we lose, hey, it was a great run, but
it's such a big game. We'll lose tomorrow, of course.
It is. And I am encouraged that we're playing at home, and we've been pretty damn good at home, especially in the Champions League. I don't know what it is with Benfica in the last season or two. It seems like in the Champions League, they've been really up for it, no matter who they're playing against, even going into the knockout phase last year. The match against Liverpool is maybe the outlier of one that wasn't very good for us.
Liverpool was so on last year too, though.
That's it. Liverpool was, in the running for 4 different competitions towards the end of the season. So we can look past that. But against Ajax, even against Bayern, we gave them a decent run. So I think that does fill me with encouragement. But like I said, I'm sort of a pessimist in some ways, in that I'm sort of always like, okay, is this going to be the match? Is this finally going to be it? Is Juve going to finally turn their season on? Like, how you guys give me the quick, I know your viewers have probably listened to it already and your take on it, but what's like the Spark Notes version of the performance against Empoli?
Oh, that's perfect. I'll give you an image real quick.
Perfect.
Bam. That guy.
Okay.
Adrian Rabiot.
Yes, sir.
He is so here's the funny thing, Adrian, is you'll get a kick out of this. Statistically, he is the highest rated player on the roster.
Okay.
I know, ironically. So Adrian Rabiot is the highest rated player that we have right now. He is technically rated higher than Dusan, rated higher than Milik, even Perrine, or anybody. Like, because Dave and I, we were doing the pregame for Empoli, and we are looking at some of the stats, and I told Dave, I'm like, dude, Adrian Rabiot's listed as our best player. Is that even possible right now? But to go on to it, though, on a more serious note, the thing is the game against Empoli, we saw a couple of things. So, like, we saw a more organized Juventus, a more Juve-like Juventus, where the team was actually playing. So this was a quick clip that they actually took right before kickoff, right when the players actually bunched up together, because we had that retreat that everyone was talking about. We were all skeptical about it. I was skeptical. Dave wasn't. He was a little bit more optimistic than I was, because I was like, come on, a 2-day retreat. What's that going to do? So, like, we saw this right before kickoff. This was all the players getting together. Danilo and Bonucci essentially leading the huddle, just kind of getting everyone to go. And just the way that the squad played as well. So, like, this next clip is towards the end of the game when Rabiot got his second, but you could see everybody in the bench was having a good time. This is going to be Perrine and Dusan kind of like getting... So that clip right there is with Dusan and them kind of just cheering Keane on, because again, Keane's a very, very timid on the bench. He's just kind of sitting there just like this, all shriveled up. And I don't blame him. The poor kid. Kevin actually told us, because Kevin's our stadium correspondent. It's actually at all the Juve home games. He hops on live with us too. He's telling us, he's like, man, every time Keane touches the ball, he gets jeered. So, like, for him to get that goal, it was just a big morale booster for Moisey. Also, you could tell from the club was having a blast. I don't have this clip, but when McKennie got subbed off, him and Allegri were essentially just going, and then the old slap on the back of the head. So there is a lot of, like, for example, a lot of Juve commentators, YouTubers that were saying that the locker room hates this guy, he's done, etc., blah, blah, blah. But, we have video footage that proves otherwise. And I think that the squad is really, really starting to get each other on the same page as far as playing together. I also have some snippets when we kind of break down a little bit at the Empoli game as well, just kind of how Juve are attacking, and it's a lot more different. The Empoli game was a lot more different than it was against you guys the first roundabout. Same thing with PSG, just a bunch of other games too. So there is a spark of optimism in the Juve camp. Is it like we're back right now? Not yet. It's still too soon, but I think, and the beauty of this game is it's almost like a WWE storyline. So, like for example, you have like not like the heel or the face, or like for example, Juve's this right now. It's like can Porto. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say that. But can Benfica?
Such
No,
disrespect.
I just had a Porto joke brewing, and it just Freudian slip. But it's like, for example, right now, can Benfica truly establish themselves right now with this run that they're going? Are they going to be able to have their legacy, air quotes, legacy that, they're this unstoppable monster right now? And then it's like Juve, this is a shot at Juve to redeem themselves. Because the thing is it's not about qualifying for the round of 16 for me. It's more so Benfica came to your house and punched you in the face and walked away, and you couldn't do anything about it. Can you return the favor? And I think that's one of the main storylines that a lot of people are looking at. And that's why I think this game is really, really interesting, to say the least.
It's personal. Yeah. It's personal now. I changed my color now to help you out, by the way. I understand that the blue was misleading. My thinking was blue Champions League. Okay, we're talking Champions League, but I should have just gone with red from the beginning. That was my bad.
The color therapy. It's real.
Yeah, there you go.
And Sharif, thanks for this comment. Thanks for the special episode and very special, amazing guest, All Giants tonight. Those are very kind words. Thank you very much. And of course, we're super excited, as always, to have Adrian on here. Of course, one of my compatriots just down the road from me.
That's right.
Yeah. So he's a semi-local boy anyway. So
yeah, that's it.
So it's always cool. But yeah, Adrian, I want to throw something just back at you along those same lines, because you asked us like how we're feeling from a non-Juve fan's perspective, as somebody who's going up against them tomorrow. What is the look? Like, how are we perceived right now?
For me personally, because I did miss the Empoli match, it's kind of hard for me to give you a good answer on that one. I can speak to Benfica and how our strengths are. I would say that I'm still confident that we'll get a good result. I'm still confident we'll get a result. That's what I'll say. That being a draw or a win. I'll take either one right now. I just want us to solidify our place in the next round. But it's hard for me to say, because you're saying all these things about team unity, and I'm getting a little bit nervous now, because before you guys were in disarray. It looked like no one really liked each other. There was like so much disorganization between your back line and the midfield. That was the main thing. When I think back to our first match, I think of that huge pocket corridor, basically, of space between your back line and your two central midfielders, that we were just constantly put Rafa, João Mario, just anyone, just to occupy that space, get the first knockdown, and then go with it. So now I'm thinking, okay, are you guys starting to turn things around a little bit? Now what's going to be the game plan? Are we going to start shifting our attack more to the wings to get Neres in one-on-one situations, or João Mario or Rafa, etc.? So I would say overall, I know that Juve isn't quote-unquote back yet, that if you're asking how I perceive them. But it seems like, from what you've told me and from the results that I've seen recently, they are starting to turn things around a little bit. Because I look at that Maccabi game, and that Maccabi is not an easy team. Like they did that to PSG as well. They didn't beat them. Obviously, PSG still beat them. But there were moments where Maccabi could have had goals against PSG, where they should have had goals against PSG. So I know that, a lot of people are laughing like, haha, they lost to Maccabi. But I wouldn't be surprised if we go to Maccabi and really, really struggle. That is a tumultuous stadium, to say the least. It is difficult to go there.
I could only imagine the fans, because let's be honest, and not to throw shade at the country, but Israel isn't always the easiest place to live. It's a bit of a rocky state for certain reasons that we won't get into, but it is. Yeah, so I can only imagine, like, you must have some hard people living in there, and just like hardcore as a result. So I imagine that place was just on complete fire, just going crazy.
Yeah, that's got to be a huge outlet of emotion for a lot of people, as it is for people in every country. It's just all the same, all the more like that. You see that in countries like Israel, etc. So yeah, I feel like I've gone in circles with this question, but overall, I think that Juve is still a team that we will respect ultimately, because we have to. But am I as scared of this Juve team as I would be of previous iterations? I don't think so.
How about like last month's iteration versus this month's iteration?
I feel like this one's stronger, right? I feel like this one's stronger. But how about, here's the question for you guys. What is your away form like?
Horrible. It's actually quite bad.
Well, yeah. Well, it's funny that you asked that because the thing is prior to the Torino game, it was, I believe, 12 games that we've lost away. We haven't won an away game in about 12 matches. Also, we hadn't scored in almost over half of those matches, where we finally kind of broke the duck with that goal against Torino. And then I think that kind of essentially perpetuated the squad against Empoli, because it just, you could tell, like, from kickoff to the Empoli game. And I hate putting a team's form on one game, but we can only, the thing is like, everyone, you can make the argument that it's only Empoli, but it's one of those things. You play who's in front of you. They played Empoli. It was your first 20 minutes. A lot of people have reported this. Juve was intense for 20 minutes, which we were. Got the Keane goal, a couple of chances by Keane and McKennie. And then, we kind of fell a little bit flat. But the thing is they started kicking it back up again, where you started seeing the attacks. You started seeing the intensity build back up again. So I think more so it looks like the fitness and the conditioning of the players is starting to take a turn, or it has hit the corner and finally started to take a turn for the better. But I honestly think that September and the beginning of October, just certain how transfer strategies, player injuries, and personnel shakeups, I think that also had to go with the rocky start, because Dave also has it recorded as well. But we're actually in better league form this season than last season. We actually
have 4 more points at this point after match day 11 than we did last year.
Yeah. So, and we know, guys, that Allegri teams are, even regardless of how long his tenure is, they're always slow starters.
I just have a couple stats too. I just did some numbers. So we have the second fewest goals against at 7. Lazio only has 5, which is nuts. Good for them. But we're 4th in goal differential. So, I mean, Allegri ball is technically working. Not much conceded, not scoring a bunch, but I mean, it's still a goal differential of 10. I mean, it's something. It's something to go off of. It certainly isn't nothing.
So, and then also kind of touching base on how you were mentioning about exposing weaknesses. So I have quotations of Roger Schmidt's interview this morning. I'll pull it up right here. So some of the comments that he made about us was saying that it was a difficult match, even there in Turin. Then we played a good match. Now it's a new game. We were focused for 90 minutes. We found the right game plan. The situation is clear. We have a small advantage, but everyone can still qualify. He says about the squad, he says, Juventus are Juventus. They have big players, a great squad. They want to go forward. We expect the best Juventus, and we are ready to play our best football. We have to think about doing well these 90 minutes. We have to play a very good game. The group has a very clear situation, but we have to be focused. The goal can only be on the pitch. Be brave. With our fans on our side, that's an advantage. We want to make them happy. We want to be in the Champions League next year. They have experience, tradition. They're used to being on this level. We expect the best Juventus, and we are ready to exploit their weaknesses. It's a difficult group, but we must not underestimate their commitments. Absences are, and then he was talking about our injury crisis. Everybody apparently has muscle injuries at Juve. So he kind of comments on this, saying absences are heavy for everyone. Sometimes it seems to happen to us as well, but in modern football, we are used to it. We have to find solutions, and so will Juventus. So I think it's obviously a very, very mellow, mild message. Not really anything too crazy. Not like a rah, 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 just like it's coach speak. But, any thoughts on Schmidt's comments?
It's definitely coach speak. He was not giving much away, was he? It was all very much, it's an important game. Oh, everyone needs to win. Injuries happen to everybody, blah, blah, blah. It was coach speak. I mean, so far so good with Roger Schmidt. I think that he's really endeared himself to the fans a lot, and he's not buying into his own stock too much, it seems, in the media, which is good. Like, he seems to be a very level-headed, very German man, to put it plainly.
I am Jose Mourinho. He's not one of those.
No. He's not one of those. Not yet, at least. We'll see if this unbeaten run continues. Maybe he'll suddenly change his tune. But I think that, I mean, I don't know. He didn't give us much to go off of, did he? Because it was all very much like, Juventus is Juventus. We both need to win. It was all very like blah.
And that's what
kind of.
Allegri said basically. Is we got
Yeah.
obviously we lost to you guys, so
It seemed
a
like
little
they're
more
both
real.
worried about giving the other team something to motivate them or something, you
Yeah,
know? Like
so
that's what it sort of smacks of to me.
no, I get you. And the one thing though that I did find a little bit different from Allegri's interview from the previous interviews is he said, "I feel confident and I expect the team to go out and get a result." He never really says that. There's a little bit of a different tone in Allegri's interview. So
Mm.
also, just shout out to Gigas Juve Beppe. He actually went in a lot more in depth, not even like an hour or so ago on his live stream. So Beppe was talking about it, and he also mentioned it as well, is that there's a different toot in Allegri's horn per se. They might know something that we don't. Maybe we're just being pundits and we're overlooking it, but there is something a little bit different in this Juve camp. Hopefully they can prove it against Benfica. You know, because the thing is the one season where we started really bad. We lost to Udinese, we lost to Roma, and then we rallied and won the Scudetto. It takes a clinical game, a spark game per se, and for a team that's trying to regain their footing and their confidence, beating Benfica, if it were to happen, I think would be something that would send Juve into that trajectory of finding their feet again.
It would bring us back for sure, I think.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, it would be a feather in your cap, you know, and one of the few undefeated teams end their run. I think, what's one of the other ones? Real Madrid is still an undefeated side. Has Napoli lost? Yeah, they lost a game, didn't they?
Yeah.
No, Roma
No?
did. They beat Roma. They ended up beating Roma. They have not lost a game yet.
Yeah.
They draw.
Not yet?
drew.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Napoli's on fire too this year.
Yeah.
Napoli's too.
So, yep.
But yeah, I saw someone in the comments asking, what is Benfica's weakness?
Yes,
And I would
KB.
say, yes, exactly. KB, what's up, man? I would say, look, there's always going to be an opportunity to, I mean, so far so good with Silva, Antonio Silva, the young 18-year-old center back who's played really well, hasn't really put a foot wrong, besides giving away that one penalty against PSG. There's always going to be the chance that you can shake him up and he can lose his head a little bit because he is just 18. You know, there's always sort of a chance that that can happen. But again, he's gone away to Porto, which is an insane environment to play in. He's gone away to PSG and played well against them. He's gone away to Juventus and played well against them, you know, standing up to Bonucci at times and stuff like that. So he's seemingly a little bit fearless. There is an opportunity there. Now, the other weakness I would say is in the striker position right now. We are absolutely begging for a lethal goal scorer right now because Gonzalo Ramos, as much as I love the kid and I wish that he was as prolific as he was when he was a little bit younger, he just seems to be very, very streaky at the moment. He seems like he's lacking in confidence, and he's one of those strikers where when he's lacking in confidence, he's going to head it directly at the goalkeeper. He's going to shoot it directly at the goalkeeper, that kind of thing. So I would say that that is our area that we're sort of hurting right now. If we had someone who could finish off the opportunities that João Mario, Rafa, etc. can all provide, David Neres, then we would be talking. Left back, Romaldo's been playing really well. I know that you guys have been heavily linked with him recently. Right back, happy there. Midfield, Florentino's playing excellently. Enzo's been great. So yeah, the striker position. And then, of course, in goal, as much as I love Odysseus, he's a great shot stopper, but any crosses into the box, anything that he has to come out and either punch or collect, my heart skips a beat.
I get you. You know, that's interesting that you say that your guys' offense is something that you're concerned about because so you guys technically have the second best offense in the Portuguese league. You're only behind Braga offensively. So that's interesting. And then, you know, it's funny because KB was asking about weaknesses. So I've been watching some Benfica games just to kind of study how they play and how they shape up defensively. It's hard, man. You guys have only conceded 5 goals. And even so, the one thing that I've noticed, so I actually have some clips that I pulled from the PSG game, but the only time that like I've seen you guys look vulnerable is through your center back, but that's because PSG has thrown at least 4 people in front of you right there. Yeah. So this was kind of the center back that I have highlighted here. So the thing is this was the Messi goal. So Messi's obviously right here, but the thing is I think the only weakness that I can see in Benfica is being able to send at least 4 players forward to kind of catch you guys a little bit off balance. Just because, like, for example, this defender here is stuck in no man's land, essentially, because it's either if the ball goes to Messi, he has to bite in, which then gives Hakimi a shot to get back on sides and then open up a slot, even on the left or right with Mbappe and Neymar. Of course, we don't have those levels of players, but it's interesting to say the least. And then here's another tidbit, too, for PSG chance as well. or you guys actually offensive. So it's funny because Ramos actually heads this to the keeper.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that you said that, because the thing is and I'll show you this shot here with Juve scoring their goal against Benfica, or with Empoli. Nope, this isn't it. So this right here. So almost kind of a similar breakdown how we broke down Empoli with how PSG broke you guys down, where we sent. So this is Kostic sending the ball in, where you have Dusan, you have Keane, you have McKennie, you have Cuadrado, all kind of taking up the space. So I think the thing is to answer that question, I think Benfica's weakness, hypothetically, is if we're able to at least send 4 players up to kind of catch your guys' defense a little bit off guard, per se. I think that's probably the best course of action. But again, that opens us up because you guys are very good on the counter as well.
Yeah. That's the huge risk, is you do that and then it's just 2 outball or even 1 outball to Gonzalo Ramos, and then he flicks it on to David Neres, and then it's trouble. But yeah, like some people have been saying, at least on Twitter, etc., because I always get so many questions about Gonzalo Ramos. He has been doing most everything correctly and well besides the finishing. There was a season, I believe it was last season, where sometimes he was played as sort of a 10 or a second striker, and he sort of thrived in that role, but he was originally a striker. And it's just his finishing has gone a little bit missing. I don't know if he's second guessing himself or what's happening this season. The pressure of being the guy under this very successful team. It's just our striker that's not finishing. Thankfully, we are still getting goals from everybody else, you know?
Nice.
No, that's good.
And I know you didn't have much time. Do you have to head out, or?
I got a good 5 minutes, yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, you have a question here. Youssef Mirmo, as he being an Iranian, he wants to know what your opinion of Taremi is.
I think that Taremi is clearly an incredibly technically gifted player. It's just the diving for me is absolutely to a level that is just ridiculous. I mean, Neymar gets a lot of flack for his diving and how he goes down. Taremi is right up there with him. I mean, even the commentator, I was watching Porto Benfica on Goal TV, and the commentator, who obviously covers Benfica and Porto quite often, was talking about how he sees Taremi as a magician. The way that he makes it so believable when a player doesn't even touch him, and the way he can con the referee into giving out cards and penalties not so much, but he can really cause a lot of yellow cards for the other team because there's no VAR for that, right?
He did it with us. He did it with us in Demirel like 2 years ago. So.
Yeah, he's so I would say as far as his playing ability, he's great. As far as the diving goes, I've never met, or not even met, but come across someone more frustrating in recent memory besides maybe Neymar or something like that.
Even more than Mbappe?
Yeah.
I guess Mbappe is a little bit like that.
Who's worse, Neymar or Mbappe? I mean,
I think
that's a
Mbappe
whole
is by
other thing.
far.
You think Mbappe? I think Neymar
like-
maybe is the how
2018.
extravagant he is. With,
Yeah,
with
2018 World Cup Neymar was ridiculous. And the crazy thing about that was I was talking about people, I'm like, that's absolutely disgusting. Bro, he's just trying to protect himself from injury. I'm like, yeah, by rolling 15 times down the sideline, I think that makes you injured even more.
Let's not go down that tangent.
But
We want to
anyway,
maximize.
So I do think the one thing, and I'm going to shout out Dat Calcio boy if he's still watching, Alex. There is one player that has been flying under the radar, and it's not Rabiot, even though he technically is rated quite well, but it's Kostic. We're looking at the stats. I believe we had 32 crosses yesterday against Empoli, 25 accurate crosses where they actually found their target. 25 of them were from Kostic. So,
His percentage. He went from 69% at Frankfurt to 85%.
85% cross accuracy at Juventus.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he had a slow start at the beginning. It's fair, but Alex was the one that covered it for sure. He had like a couple of shorts on it.
Yeah, that was a
so
good
again,
video.
guys, double check that Calcio boy. Also, Alex, if you're in here, just say hey to everybody. But like the thing is the one thing that Benfica is going to have to watch, and I believe it's Junior that's playing on. That's going to be probably defending Kostic, but Kostic right now is absolutely just pinging people properly. Whether or not they finish it is another thing. Even though technically Cuadrado has more assists than Kostic, but he had 2 from corners. So I don't know. I don't really consider that anything crazy off of Cuadrado because I have another image, because this is the other thing as well, because it's going to be Cuadrado versus Grimaldo tomorrow. And that is one matchup that absolutely terrifies me for this sole reason right here.
Oh yeah,
So
Grimaldo,
can
of
you
course.
can you move KB's comment just so you can see the image, Dave?
Of course, yeah.
So like right here, so Cuadrado's holding the ball onto this right here, Adrian, and Cuadrado gets dispossessed and becomes a free shot on Szczesny, where Szczesny's forced to make a save. Cuadrado is absolutely notorious for losing possession in the defensive side of the ball, whether it be taking a stupid dribble, a stupid touch, anything in general. So where our shining feature is Kostic on the left, our huge issue right now is Cuadrado on the right, and we are playing a 3-5-2, so Cuadrado is going to be moving up and down the field, and it's just defensively, I'm not a big fan of Juan. I think if Grimaldo, takes opportunity or takes what's going on with there, I think Grimaldo is going to have a field day with Cuadrado. I mean, no disrespect to Juan, but I think his age is definitely shown this season, and that's probably going to be something that if Benfica doesn't attack on their left side and attack Cuadrado and Danilo, I would be shocked.
And I'm sure they will, because I mean, just naturally we tend to sort of cycle down that side of the pitch because of Grimaldo and João Mario both being on that side. They like to get the quick interplay, and then Rafa also tends to sort of drift to that side as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is a focus, because
It's been exploited before.
Yes, Maccabi absolutely exposed that side.
Yes, that's it. And who will be, or is it going to be Danilo as center back, or who's going to be left wing back?
It'll be a 3-5-2. So it's going to be
right? On the left?
So yep. Okay. So it'll be essentially, so the back three is going to be Alexandro, Bonucci, and Danilo, and then you'll have Cuadrado in the middle, McKennie, Locatelli, Rabiot, and Kostic, and then the front two is Milik and Vlahovic that are being projected. I don't think Keane is going to start this game. I doubt it. No. But so it's going to be that. So that's going to be essentially our projected lineup. Some people are saying Rugani. I doubt it. I don't think Allegri would play Rugani in this magnitude of a game. I think he's going to go with Sandro just because Allegri always goes with experience over youth. But yeah, that's going to be the one thing. So it's that's just our right side. Like, it's literally going to be our right side.
Yeah. And there's that culture boy now trashing down Mario a bit, which I mean, I guess
he did stink at Inter, to be fair to. I mean, he was really bad, but at least he's coming into this one. There was a few guys that were taken off at halftime because of so we had, I don't know, I'm sure you guys have an Italian equivalent, but the referee that we had for Benfica Porto is the kind of guy where if you breathe on a player, he'll give you a yellow card.
Oh, is that not Freddy?
Irati.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, that's the Italian equivalent. For us, I think his name was Pinheiro or something like that. But anyways, a lot of our players got yellow cards in the first half. So Roger Schmidt made a triple substitution at halftime. So João Mario, Enzo, and Ba all came off at halftime. So they'll be nice and fresh, hopefully. And so Ba up against Kostic is a battle that I'm going to be looking forward to, because Alexander Ba has been in great form. He's really fast and strong. And Kostic, I have a slight grudge with, which goes way back to his Eintracht Frankfurt days during that Benfica season where João Felix was killing it, and that he scored a goal against us that was offside. But this was at the time in 2019 when VAR didn't exist in Europa League, even though I think they were using it in the Champions League at the time, or they're going to soon or something like that. So yeah, hopefully Ba can get the better of Kostic there, because while I respect him a lot, because like you said, he's very fun to watch, isn't he? He's so rapid down that left flank, and now apparently he has aim assist on his crosses, which is great.
Yeah, he bought a Cronus Zen. I don't know if you guys figured that out, but yeah, that's why like his eyes glow every game now.
Yeah, exactly. He has aimbot going on.
Straight up. But and the thing is like, and here's the crazy thing about Kostic is like Kostic isn't flashy. Like, yeah, you can argue that he is one-dimensional. He is. He's literally like, if you had a Xbox or a PlayStation controller, he's a walking X or square button. Like, literally, that's all he can do. Move forward, back and forth, sprint, and X. Which isn't bad, because the thing is and this is, I think, personally what's keeping Juventus from really being deadly, is because they have no option on the right. I think once Federico Chiesa comes in, I think Chiesa is probably going to play on the right side of the field instead of the left. But having that one guy that just lobs balls into the box, and then, like, for example, your opposing winger or someone that can threaten you with a dribble, it makes you extremely hard to predict. That's what kind of caught Empoli off guard, and a little bit with Torino as well. It's just, I think we were still kind of shaky, but like, I'm going to expect Benfica to be a little bit surprised on how Juve is going to go, because like when we played you guys the first time, it was more so pass the ball to Milik or Dusan and see what happens. There wasn't really more so a stretch them out, cross the ball, or do anything like that. Because I was looking at the heat maps of that game, and it wasn't really that good per se on the Juventus side. The hexagonal meme that everyone makes, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see any wide play, especially, and I don't want to say, oh, if Allegri has, Chiesa and Pogba, and it's a totally different ball game. But I think once Juve actually solidifies that right side, or if Juan Cuadrado turns back the clock, I think Benfica is going to be in trouble defensively because you're going to be handling multiple threats versus the one. So, like, for example, even with PSG, even though it was a messy, spectacular shot, it still kind of kept you guys a little bit taken back because you're like, oh, crap, I have Mbappe on the left and I have Messi and Hakimi on the right. The thing is like, if a team has the numbers of those players that can actually do something per se, where it's not just, hey, throw the ball in the middle to Dusan and the two center backs could clean it, where it's like, hey, I have to throw Grimaldo back because Cuadrado just started dribbling out of nowhere and is attacking us on the right, or I have to keep Junior because I have to have Junior make sure that Kostic doesn't have a clean cross. When you start pinning your wing backs back, that's what gives you a Rabiot, a McKennie, or even a Locatelli an opportunity to push forward because your two center backs are preoccupied with Milik and Dusan, where it's like, if we look at the stats, our midfielders have been scoring a lot more frequently. I know, like, for example, if you look at the Juve of 2018, the Juve of 2019, the Juve of Pirlo's Juve, I think for the entire season, our midfielders have scored maybe 2 to 3 goals tops, where it's like now we had three midfield goals the previous game. So it's like a lot of Juve's production and goals they are coming from Dusan. He has 6. Don't get me wrong with that. But counting all competitions, you have 7 from Dusan. You have 4 from Rabiot, of all people, Rabiot. You have at least 2 to 3 from McKennie. And then I believe you have 1 from Locatelli as well. So you have almost double-digit goals from your midfield, and it's only 11 games in. So that gives you an entirely different dynamic. And I think, and that was, and unfortunately, the midfielders started scoring after we played you guys. But I think that's going to give Benfica a lot more trouble than we expect.
I think so, yeah. I don't think that this game is going to resemble the first one at all because you guys were, I don't know if you were at like peak banter era of this particular season.
Yeah.
But it was pretty close to that when we last faced you guys, I feel like.
Yeah. But I do know you have to head out. I'm sorry.
I do, yeah.
We would love more time with you. KB had a couple more questions lined up. I guess we'll get to them next time. Sorry, KB. You got so many questions. And they were all great, so thank you for that. But we won't keep you anymore. For everyone else, we will continue with the Strictly Juve talk. But Adrian, thank you so much once again. It's a real pleasure. Just thanks. Quick prediction too. What do you got?
Oh, quick prediction. I'm going to go with a relatively unexciting 1-1 in this one. What do you guys think of that?
Right. I think that's not bad.
Who's gonna score? Is it gonna be Rabiot?
It's going to be Cuadrado, actually.
Oh
boy.
Cuadrado.
that would make the Juve verse melt.
Yeah.
I have to stay positive and go with the 2-1. I think 2-1 with Milik man. Screw it. Let's go Cuadrado. I'll throw it down. We're crazy.
I'm gonna go 1-0. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a Locatelli goal.
Locatelli.
All right.
1-0 at the Estadio de Luge. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see.
All right. So we're locked in. Anyways, Adrian, I'll let you head out here. Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks again.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me, guys. Enjoy the game tomorrow, and we'll do this again sometime. Cool.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone else, don't leave. We still got some more news to cover.
Take care, guys.
I'll bump
Thanks,
you
Adrian.
here.
We'll see you.
Nice. All right. So that was amazing. Obviously, we all love Adrian. I know there's a couple guys coming over from Rabona TV, so thank you for just supporting us for a little bit. If it's just for a stop by, hey, we're cool with that too. Thank you. Now, I don't know. Okay, I don't know if we're gonna get in trouble because I don't know what this means.
I don't know.
Someone tell me what this guy's saying.
It's a troll.
Is it a troll?
Yeah.
Do you know who this is? Because you was that you that blocked Big Dick Lover?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Walter White from Breaking Bad.
He wasn't here before. This isn't his first time.
Yeah, I know who it is.
Okay, is it your? Okay.
Yeah, it's my little brother.
All right. So Dash's little brother is he the big dick lover?
I mean, he could be.
It's kind of weird. Anyways, so let's get on to the Juve news. I want to start off on something super exciting because every time there's Chiesa news and it's exciting.
Oh, I got a Chiesa clip.
You got a Chiesa clip?
I
Okay,
had a
well let's
Chiesa
play
clip.
it because as of I guess technically in Italy it's his birthday. It's his birthday on the 25th. So there you go.
So that is him and Dusan working out together. So name me a better bromance than Chiesa and Dusan right now, guys, because those guys are literally.
They were whispering, man. They were like, yeah, they got secrets. They got secrets, man. Good for them. And I forgot I didn't have it ready, so that's my bad. But we are talking about Rabiot earlier, so I'll just bring back I guess the first segment, heat map.
The heat map.
He was everywhere on that left. I mean, that's pretty. Like even right in the box there too a few times, right?
So I mean, like, look at his fashion sense too. I mean, the dudes. Look at this. Like, what
they're
a stud.
wearing the same. Like they've synchronized their clothing.
Oh,
Blue with the white trim.
What a stud. But you know, the thing is like we joke about Rabiot, but like the guy is playing some ridiculously good ball right now.
Did you see his flow?
Yeah,
we talked about it. If you guys haven't
like
seen
he's
his
like
flow,
middle of the match, he's just like going like this, just trying to like look all majestic and crap. And I'm like, yeah, that's why this guy's gonna score 2 goals. But
is that a Brokeback Mountain reference?
No. Like brokenness is like they're absolutely cheat codes.
Oh,
like, think about it,
okay.
Because like,
he meant bromance.
Bromance.
Bromance. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Even be. I'm just clicking on things. I'm not pre-reading. I'm sorry. Just going down the list, clicking them off.
Yeah, and then
sorry.
Alex says Rabiot the GOAT. I mean, yeah, he really is right now. And then KB, that was Mama Rabiot. Rumor has it she is single. So.
Oh yeah, I wonder why.
She tickles your fancy, KB. She's looking at you right there. You might be able to get a contract renewal for Adrian. So the funny thing is kind of going on with Rabiot. So like, apparently Juve is ready to offer him a new deal now, just because of the basis of string performances, and it says that he's unlikely to renew. I don't disagree with that. I think because he's going to probably ball out and try to demand that 10 million a season salary. Because if he gets double-digit goals, if he's able to get 10 goals and like some assists, he's easily going to command that salary, and somebody will give him that overinflated thing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
yeah, I still think it's ridiculously early. So the thing is like if a team somehow gives him a contract in January and he takes it, I'm not mad, to be honest with you. I wouldn't even cry about it. I would just say, hey, thanks for the stuff, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. The other thing is Chelsea apparently has a ridiculous amount of interest in Rabiot, and they want to give us Ziyech for him, which I would rather take Pulisic, in my opinion, over Ziyech, just because Pulisic is linked between us and Milan. So there's apparently, because Graham Potter does not want Pulisic anymore, and Pulisic is looking to move to Italy. And I think one of those arguments that I had was with Pulisic was like, I actually like Pulisic as a depth player on that right side, just because he gives an extra oomph to the right side of the field, because right now we don't really have anything. And
I like it. Yeah. Well, I mean, Ziyech, I don't know him as well.
I don't either, to be honest with you. And he's older too. So he's almost 26, 27, where Pulisic's like 23, 24.
Look that up. Yeah, Pulisic is definitely young. Ziyech.
And then Bones is funny because he was saying that he's like, you should make every year a contract year for Rabiot.
Yeah, exactly. He's 29. Ziyech.
Yeah, so like there's like a 7 years age difference. I'd rather have Pulisic.
But if it was a swap, so they talk about a swap, right? So you're swapping, I guess at that point, Rabiot is going to be what, 28, 29? So there's like a 1 to 2 year difference between the two players, right? Whereas Pulisic, I mean, there's a bigger gap in that sense.
Yeah, I think
So
Pulisic is more versatile than Zilich because the thing is like even though I think Pulisic has played more consistently than Zilich as well. I
yeah,
mean, anyone in the chat, feel free to fact check me. But the thing is, because Zilich, I only remember him playing well in Ajax, and that was it. Like he struggled for anything in Chelsea, but where Pulisic was able to do anything with it. Because the thing is it's kind of like I was talking with Adrian was like we have Kostic as your main crosser on the left. If you have a dribbler on the right, that is probably one of the most difficult offenses to defend against because you have Dusan in the middle, which is essentially your target man. So you always have at least 1 to 2 guys watching Dusan, and then now you have to focus in on Kostic with his like aimbot crossing, and then you'll have to look at like for example Pulisic, who is small but short and fast, where you don't want to be caught off guard with Pulisic. I'm not saying that Pulisic is going to swerve you like Mbappe. No, not at all. But Pulisic is going to make you keep that right side or that left side of your defense honest because he will burn you in open space. Especially having him with Di Maria interchange with each other because then that gives them rest periods, so none of them are being overworked. So if I was Juve, I would tell Chelsea, hey, we'll give you Rabiot if you give us Pulisic. Versus that. And Youssef is saying it as well. Ziyech is inconsistent and made of glass. Dude has not played consistently for Chelsea.
yeah, I mean, you got to look at it too, right? So they're gonna try to trade away their less valuable player in a swap if that's the case, right? They're probably just gonna try to sell Pulisic outright. I think Pulisic, because of his age, his profile, he's easier to just sell outright.
Unfortunately.
But we'll see. We're early days.
But it might actually mess up our this news might actually mess up our little Pulisic train. Bam. McKennie is potentially out of the club, moving to Tottenham for around 30 million.
But that could be fake news though. And it's Tudo Sport.
It is Tudo Sport. It could be fake
news. So they have
claimed
Tottenham denies the McKennie interest.
Yeah, that's what Paratici says. He's buying all of his old players.
But okay, but Paratici apparently is, or sorry, I'm thinking Conte now. Yeah, Paratici. But Conte, of course, that's the other story. He might be coaching us next year. We don't know.
God, that'd be funny. Well, the thing is like there was a clause. There's rumors that there's a clause where Tottenham has like a 1-year option on Conte to extend him, and then also like apparently Zidane said I'm coming back to coaching, and everyone's like, oh my god, come to Juve. Which makes absolutely no sense. But yeah, I don't even want to talk about the coaching carousel right now just because of how many options there is and what's going on per se. So it's
it's silly. It's all silly.
Yeah,
right now.
It is nuts. But even so, Dat Coucho Boy says, yeah, that I think that's what we said in our live stream where like I would pay 30 to 35 million for him.
Completely fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the thing is also if Chelsea overcharge, because the thing about Pulisic is he isn't a 30 game plus player. He's played more so from the 20 to 27 range, which is again, you're not paying more than 40 million for a guy that doesn't do that because we advocated against Berardi back then because we just didn't want a player that wasn't consistently.
Man, it's Berardi. Come on, guys. Come on.
So like so like the thing is with Pulisic, I want him as a piece. I don't want him to be the guy.
You want a piece of that ass, do you?
But like the thing is like my main argument for him is as a supplemental piece to a right winger that we get. Like for example, whether it be Chiesa's your main guy, because I think the emergence of Kostic is going to change the way Allegri looks at this entirely. I think he's going to keep Kostic on the left and move Chiesa to the right.
I hope so. I've been calling that forever.
I'm fairly convinced of it because the thing is Pogba's a left center mid, so Pogba will slot into that left spot with Kostic, and then you have to put Chiesa on the right. Because the thing is Chiesa was most lethal under Pirlo when he was on that right side, where he was able to make those because he felt more comfortable.
Right winger.
Yeah,
he's straight up a right winger.
Yep, he is, and then
they want to make him a left.
Yeah, and the thing is like also all of the assists that Chiesa gave Ronaldo were from the right, where he was able to beat a defender, slot the ball into the box for a tap in.
And Italy too. Everything came in from the right.
Yep. So I think that works perfect. And Bone says Pulisic can play both sides. Yes, he can.
Most wingers at that level typically can at least fake it on the other side.
Yeah, Pulisic. Well, the thing is Pulisic can play across the front line. He can play as a center forward, a left wing, or right wing, and that's one of the reasons why I like him as a piece because he can do that.
Yeah,
having players that can give you that flexibility changes the entire game. And then Yusuf says, what about when Di Maria is back? The 3-5-2 with Chiesa next to. I don't think we're going to be in the 3-5-2. I think they're gonna switch once they get all the personnel back. I think it's a
4-3-3. Yeah.
I think it's a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, something around the lines of that. I think we're going to shift. I think the 3-5-2 is just because of the personnel that we have right now.
Yeah.
I don't see us playing 3-5-2 long term. I think Allegri's going to start incorporating the new formation after the holiday break. So after the World Cup break, I think we're going to see either a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. I doubt that he plays a 4-4-2 anymore.
Let's
because
hope not. Nobody likes it. Nobody
likes it
likes the 4-4-2.
Because the thing is like Kostic, even though he's great and he's playing well, he's opening up a tactical nightmare right now. Because Kostic technically isn't a left winger; he's more of a left wing
mid.
back, mid or left wing back or whatever. So like, he doesn't really fit the 3 in a 4-3-3. So like that kind of almost. It's weird because it almost kind of gives you a little bit now like a head scratcher. Like where do I play him? So
because his best crosses come from that what do you call it? I guess I want to say the thirds. It's almost like that third quarter of the field, right? Like
yes,
past halfway, but before the box out on that wing.
Yep. So I even have an image where I can show you that. But like that's the thing where it wrong one. Bam. So that's essentially him right
that
there.
Spot. Yeah.
That's where Kostic is probably his most lethal, and him as a left winger, he'd be up here. He'd be towards the top of the half instead of where he is.
Yeah, he'd be in deep, and he hasn't had good crosses deep. And I believe
that's what she said.
My eye test is remembering me correctly. What I'm thinking here is when we were first employing him, and that must have been under the 4-3-3 when he was more advanced. He would get deep, and his crosses just won't connect. That's when he was struggling. And now that he's playing further back, he's doing a lot better. But that just adds fuel to keeping the 3-5-2 in that sense. So it is going to be interesting.
Yeah, because with the 3-5-2, I have no idea where you're going to play Di Maria unless he becomes one of the two.
I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird one.
Yeah, because like he would have to play next to Dusan. That's pretty much how that would work.
Di Maria will be back when he's 38.
Yeah. Because the thing is like, guys, we need to be honest. Even though we're going to say, what are we going to do with Di Maria back? We need to figure out what we're going to do without Di Maria. He's a rental.
Yeah, no, exactly. And we can't make the formations based on him. If anybody has to adapt a position, it's him.
It's him. Because remember, we have to have leverage here. Like, no offense to Di Maria, great career, great player, but you're in the Juve show and you're only here for another 8 months. Like
he knows what he signed up for.
Either put up or get us some transfer value in January. That's my only comment for that.
Yeah, he's not. He said he's going to Argentina. He's done.
Yeah, he's gone.
Also, I just want to remind everyone, get your predictions in. And while I'm reminding people, hit the like button, subscribe, do all that fancy jazz because it totally helps us out. We're trying to march on this road to 1,000. I think once I hit 1,000, maybe I'll just like take vacation for a few days, I don't know, but no, obviously we're going to continue in hard, but no, it helps us a lot. 1,000's really our goal at this point. After that, everything's gravy. So please hit that like button and subscribe. We do much appreciate it because I know there's a couple new guys rolling around here coming from Rabona. Obviously great guy, great channel. Yeah, can't say enough great things. We had some great questions in there tonight too. So if you're coming in now and you missed the whole Rabona section, Adrian, sorry, I interchanged. I'm bad, but check the first 40-ish minutes, I guess.
Yeah, about 45 minutes where we talked with them, and then now it's just us doing some news and some fun stuff.
From what I understand, he's working on another video. So
yeah.
I mean, he's giving you content. That's why he had to leave. He's giving you content here on the live, and hopefully in a couple days. Man, the guy's so busy.
Yeah, so, and he took time out of his day because he loves us too. So
yeah, it's a good guy. Good guy. Support him for sure.
Very cool guy.
Sharif, more curious about Pogba filling up his position. The Chiesa of Allegri will disappoint you guys. Everyone is waiting for the Pirlo guy and forgot the disaster games of a chain Chiesa under Max Allegri.
So my response to that is
that's pretty hard though. Like that came in hard and fast.
It did, and I totally get the sentiment that he's saying. The thing
Yeah.
is that so the Juve of last season from the first half of the season is very, very hard to judge. The reason why is because we only had Morata and Keane as your forward option. So you know what every other team was saying? Double mark Chiesa. So the Chiesa Pirlo, and I'm not saying that Pirlo's some tactical genius that found the secret sauce for Chiesa. He didn't. But that season that he was under Pirlo, Juventus had two options, two good attacking options. Ronaldo, which automatically takes a defender or two to focus specifically on Ronaldo. And then you had Morata that was like a tap-in merchant because of all the opportunities from Ronaldo. So then Chiesa technically was third option on that Pirlo line, essentially, because Chiesa was the one. He didn't bloom yet. He had potential. He didn't
He
really
didn't go to
pop
the
off.
Euros yet, and
Didn't go to the
yeah.
Euros. So where now you look at it from retrospect, when you look at that season that Ronaldo left, Moise Kean, like for example, if I'm Empoli and I'm playing Juventus, I don't really care about Kean because I don't even know if he's going to play or not. And then Morata, we all know what Morata does when he's the solo striker on the offense. Like the dude can't handle the load. So I'm saying, hey, Mark Chiesa. And the other thing too, that everyone kind of wants to say the Chiesa of Allegri. Remember, guys, that dude played from January of that year until July, nonstop.
Yeah. Very true.
Nonstop. And then
These
he
are good
barely
points,
had
man. Yeah, that all adds up.
and he barely had time to rest between the Euros and the start of the new season. So again, new coach, new style of play, new formations, new responsibilities. Also on the fact that you've literally become a megastar in about 6-7 months. Because let's be honest here, guys. When we signed Chiesa on deadline day, a bunch of people were like, oh, crap. Like everyone had that reaction. And then also all of Europe didn't know who Chiesa was. Nobody did. The only time people started noticing him was when he absolutely put Teo Hernandez in the nursing home with how many times he broke his ankles.
Well, I think
and then-
Teo just breaks his own ankles by existing.
He does. But the thing is like going in from that Milan game, going into single-handedly scoring all the goals against Porto in the Champions League. So doing all of that and then going to the Euros, fighting for his place to start, then doing the Austria game, then doing what he did against Spain, and then even almost scoring against England, which, oh my gosh, he was millimeters off.
Yeah. Oh,
Doing all of that, getting the national or the intercontinental notoriety that he received, and then coming back to Juve about 3 or 4 weeks until the preseason starts, having to understand Allegri's playbook. Because the thing is like everyone that was eliminated from the Euros and all that stuff who didn't go had at least a month and a half to work with Allegri at that time. Chiesa didn't. And remember, Chiesa's young. Chiesa's not a 25, 26-year-old veteran. He's still young.
He was 21 at the time, I believe.
I think he was 21, 22, something like that.
21 when he got the injury. Pretty sure.
So still a youngster. So for him to come in, understand that, and learn all of that, we got to relax, man.
He's the same age as Keane, and look at the profile difference.
Yeah. So like same age as Keane, and the same thing with Dusan as well. And also the thing too that remember we didn't have that first half of the season was Dusan. Now when you have defenders focused in on Dusan and also Chiesa and Dusan are like this, they are very, very close with each other, not in a weird way.
Weird's okay too.
Yeah, that I mean, who knows what they do in the sauna, but the way that they have their chemistry, I think we're going to see their chemistry on display. And also, again, with Kostic feeding both Chiesa and Vlahovic, that is going to change the way we play offensively. And then to answer, I believe, the first part with Pogba, how Pogba is going to fill it. I think Pogba is going to be the natural replacement for Rabiot because it's one of the reasons, too, because, like, again, they're both left center mids. So I think Pogba is just going to fill in on the left. So you have chances or chance creations coming from both Kostic and Pogba. Holy crap. Your offense.
I mean, like I said, of course, cautious optimism with Chiesa
of course,
and Pogba. Sure,
yeah, it's not the choo, let's go.
But if it comes back good, man, it's going to be great. I feel it. I don't know. Maybe I'm nuts. But that's
I think,
fine. I'm okay with being nuts. Yeah,
I think we're gonna be.
I don't know. We're so excited about Chiesa. I don't know, Sharif. I know you have your reservations, but man, just try to be excited because I mean it's my boy Chiesa. I love him. I don't know. Be excited for me.
I'm just saying, guys, have some optimism. Just I think we're gonna be in for a ride. I really do.
I hope so. I hope so. Let's knock off a couple quick points, and then we'll get into something to
The
talk
Juve
about. I
home kit,
suppose.
the new kit.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So first off, Coppa Italia game against Monza, January 19th at 2100. That's obviously Italy time. So that'd be 3 for us here in Eastern. So yeah, now we know. There was a link with Mudryk from Shakhtar. Apparently they want 50 million. Again,
Oh, he's that left winger, right?
yeah. Another young stud. It's just news. It's early. We'll move on. We'll get to that when there's more news because, like I said in previous episodes, unless I start hearing these names over and over, like Mudryk, yeah, I heard that before that he's come up in previous transfers, so I'll talk about it.
Yeah, we got to talk about Mama does a wheelie.
Yeah, Mama does Vili. Yeah, Mama does Vili.
Mama does V. Was that Sharif that gave us that syllable breakdown?
It might have been, yeah. Mama does a wheelie, but
I was like sitting there, we're trying to pronounce the name, and then someone comments on there, "Mama does wheelie," and I'm like, "Oh, look at that! It makes sense. Perfect."
Mama does wheelie. Yeah, it does work. But yeah, here it is, guys. Here it is. Here's a render.
Do you have the back?
Oh no, I don't.
So like,
it was from Foot Italia. Let's see if Foot Italia has it.
Yeah, it should be there. I know Beppe got a picture of it, but it's like the back looks dope. I'm not gonna lie.
See, I'm not a big fan of that.
I'm old school. I like it.
I get that it's old school. Okay, so the back has the solid black panel. So
think of a 2014, 2015 jersey, the back of
Yes.
it, where it's black with the white writing.
I'm just gonna have to. I totally forgot about the back end. My bad. And there's not much. It was a Twitter or Instagram account that had come out.
Kicky, what are we, Barry?
Going on Barry. Yeah, I'm just gonna straight up have.
Sorry, I had to do that when he said, "Are we Barry?"
Yeah, I question if anybody here actually knows where that's from. So if you know where that's from, just drop something down there in the comments. We'll see how many old timers there are. But otherwise, no, fuck. Here I am dropping that bombs again. I don't know.
We're not monetized anyways. It doesn't even matter. Just
no,
say
it doesn't.
as many as...
It's like Juventus Malia.
Let me see if I can find it.
Malia Juventus.
I'll race you.
This is bad production, guys. We're sorry. But anyways, let's get your no, they're comparing that was just 2014's kit. Yeah, Giovinco and Marquisio. But it looked like that one, essentially. But what do you guys think? Let us know of what you see so far. We have Love It Can't Stand the Jeep wheel stripes are wearing now. the wheel stripes, yeah. I think they're more like lightning-esque stripes. I think they were going for, but yeah, I guess wheel treads that works too.
Yeah, they're trying to do an EV plug on that. That's why, because like, oh, look at us, Jeep is making electric vehicles.
That was definitely some cross advertising in a sense.
There,
yeah, and Andrew does love the back.
You know who has it? I'm gonna
Bones. Yes, he's old.
I'm gonna pay our good old friend Beppe a visit because I think he has it.
Oh, you're just gonna see if
I think he has it on his Twitter.
Man, I feel so bad.
Yeah, here we go. I got it.
Do you good? Because this was like really killing the conversation.
Yeah, no, I got you. Don't worry, Dave. I got your back. All right, so just give me like not even like 15 seconds and I'll be able to throw it in on here.
So Yusuf likes the old school color, but do you love the old school
oh crap, that's
90s television intro music? That's the real question. So that is the X-Files, for those of you who don't know. They did a remake of it too, didn't they?
I think they did.
Was it good? I think it was good. I didn't watch it.
Might be.
Oh, he meant Ascoli, not Bari. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah. Yusuf saying X-Files. I mean, it was pretty good show for its time. Sci-fi and Mulder and Scully, FBI agents that they investigated extraterrestrial type things.
Yeah, they were looking for like extraterrestrials and all that fun jazz. Aliens, bro. Aliens, bro. All right, so I'm gonna just do the old share screen trick because it won't want to be nice with me. All right, cool. So this is when she says, "Hey, yo, throw it back." This is the back. So this is courtesy of G Just Juve.
So that's it. La Maglia Bianconera. That's what it's from.
So this is throwing it back.
And to pay attention, just to point out, top right it says accuracy 50%.
So it's not set in stone.
Yeah, I mean, that leaves a lot of things kind of open-ended. There was a render that had the Jeep in gold as well, so it's how much gold are we gonna see? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be upset with having a back black.
I'm down with this. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm down with it.
It's very classic, very classic looking. I love the gold accents. I always have because, yeah. Here, I'll grab it here.
Like I like it. Even Scooby likes it. See, yeah, Yusuf knew. He's like X-Files. And then Sharif
this
says,
shirt. Last year's shirt with the gold accents. I love that.
Yeah, because the thing is, the one thing that irritated me about that shirt was I think the Jeep was gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the gold Jeep. And then like the lettering on the back was gold. Where it's like with this one, it's like this to me looks dope.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, this one I don't have. But the gold, the accents though, the stripes, the Juve, the Adidas, that stuff I like.
Yeah, because this to me, and you know, it's almost blasphemy for me to say this, but like this reminds me of like the Nike kits that Juve used to have before they switched over to Adidas.
And actually, Farhad on the Main Turn Giants account there asked that question as well. Yeah, which one you prefer? So I got you know what, La Maglia Bianconera. I gotta be part of this. How did I not know about this, guys?
I don't know. I didn't even know about this until like 3 hours ago.
I'm already following it. Okay, maybe I did. Maybe I did. Okay, and here's and I mean you can tell that these are very cheap Photoshop versions. So I'll pull, now that I actually know what the hell I'm looking at, I'll have a couple more photos for you. Just give me a quick sec and I'll pop them up. KB, I know you were in Beppe stream already. This is like round 2 for you. Going through it again. Overlays. Bam, bam. Coming at you in a few seconds. So yeah, again, 50%. So what is it we're gonna see? So this is with a white Jeep, and like that looks so photoshopped right now. That's not gonna look as good printed, I don't believe. Like not as sharp.
Yeah.
And then here's the gold. Yeah, so I guess, I mean, get it sort of in the screen together. And obviously, you see the shine, right? So you can tell they did that really quickly because they just did a very matte, this is the color. And they didn't spend the time to like texturize it, make it look more like metallic and shiny. So, yeah, whereas the J, you can tell it's embroidered. Which is funny because they could have just stole off this shirt everything, right? So they stole like the embroidered part. I don't know. It just makes me wonder what is actually real. And they may not have even decided. Like for Adidas to just say, yeah, we'll make the Jeep this color or whatever. Man, it's nothing. They just do it. They probably have so many practice because they sell hundreds of millions of these things. They probably go through a few. I love Juve in pink. Oh, we haven't had that retro one in a while.
Yeah, we haven't had a. Well, I mean, the weird splat, like the Splatoon pink that we have this season.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. KB, which kit was that? The one that I have, or which one do you not like? Maybe Jeep can go pink. Sure. I mean, it might be too many different colors because that's color theory now, right? So you don't typically want more than 3 colors. So you have the black, the white, and the gold. You wouldn't want to add a fourth one because it just goes against color theory. It just doesn't jive. It will make sense if I had like a visual cue to show you like one with 3 and 4 colors. You'd be like, yeah, the one with 3 colors looks better. Yeah, the pink star kit. What's his All Juve cast? Alberto from All Juve cast. He's got that one. That's one of his favorite ones. He's got it
Yes.
up on the wall.
KB has a really good one right here. Bring back the blue away kit and our old logo back. Oh my god, the 2015-16 blue one was freaking awesome. Or was it the 2014-2015? There was like a blue kit that Pirlo was wearing. It was so dope.
Oh, I like the Buffon when he came back with 77, that blue one with the white stripes.
Oh yeah, that's the sorry one.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. This gets into design theory again too, and marketing and you'll notice too. I'll bring it back up. And I mean, Adidas is big. I don't know why they haven't done this forever, but there's no longer the Adidas written underneath the stripes. Just like Juventus went from the crest to the J with the Juventus across the top. Now it's just the J. So as your brand becomes known, you simplify it, and it's just the main image that attracts people. So one of the most famous ones would be, say, Starbucks. And if you look at, I mean, I'm gonna have to just show this start.
You were teaching you guys marketing.
This is, yeah, it's sort of interesting. Logo history, perhaps. Okay, yeah, I will pull this up and share the screen. I mean, this is just one of the most famous examples, so I'm rolling with it. Okay. Here it is. Of course, it showed. Oh, my bad. Give me another quick sec. Sorry, guys. I present.
It's everywhere.
I know it's the wrong one. Present. Share screen.
Emotional damage.
Oh my. Here we go. This is the right one. Much better. Okay, so see how the very first one was brown, and the mermaid had the two. You can still see like the full mermaid and Starbucks coffee, tea, spices. That's 1971. And it's got like the wings off the side. Then they took the wings off, went with the green. Now it's just Starbucks coffee in 87. Now they kind of zoomed in 92, so you don't see the full tails of the mermaid. They've zoomed in. It's a lot more simplified. Still Starbucks coffee. 2011, that whole outer thing is gone. It's just the main logo, the main topic, if you will, of that logo. So another famous one is Apple. What's Apple's symbol? An apple.
You want to know what it is?
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't.
Because we're not Apple fans here. Sorry. No, I'm just kidding. It was funny because you like shot one at Beppe in the chat during the
Yeah, I
live
did.
stream. You're like, yeah, that's what happens when you use Apple. And he's like, yeah, Dave, I don't know what to do. I mean, you tell me this. And
Well, I know he uses Apple. Yeah, because it was yeah, his chair. That's right. He has a light up chair. And he, I guess, didn't have the connector. He tried to plug it in because it was Diwali. He wanted all the lights going. And he grabbed the wall boards, they call them, the things you plug in the wall. He grabbed an Apple one. And immediately I looked at it. He looked at it and I'm like, he grabbed the Apple. That's a lightning port. That's not USB like the rest of the world uses. So yeah, I had to make a dig for sure.
yeah,
You guys know I'm not a big Apple fan, but I mean,
yeah,
we'll fight about
it's the
that
funny
more.
thing though, because it's like it kind of just shows how like close we all are towards each other. Like so, like for example, like we all talk to each other. Like for example, we all talk to Beppe, Dave, and Adrian are really cool with each other. So like, they're our little YouTube community. We're all interconnected, and also like we're not an isolistic channel, so we're not trying to build a cult.
the
people.
cult of Dave and Dash.
The cult, yeah, I am the cult of double D's.
Oh man, that's That's not the cult I want to be part of. And here Sharif saying black and white are not colors. So in colors theory, they are.
In theory, yeah, in marketing they are.
And when you're
But-
talking about pure white and pure black, those are not colors, but we cannot reproduce pure white and pure black. So technically, scientifically, they are still technically colors.
So, like for example, this handy
Yes,
contraption
the
here.
nice new
I know
flag.
this is it's like twice this size. I had to actually like shrink it a little bit, but like there's a huge freaking gold skull. But black and gold, or my scarf up top, black and white. So whenever you're doing any kind of marketing, the more colors you put, the more skewed it gets, and everyone's just kind of like, as KB says, millennials.
Or Mile Oaks.
Mile Oaks
The
ruin
Mile
everything.
Oaks.
You know what?
Oaks
That's gonna
are
be. I'm
old,
gonna
yes.
start saying that. I'm gonna
Mile
start
Oaks.
calling the millennials. I'll be like, it's freaking damn Mile Oaks.
Oh,
What? Mile Oaks.
Yeah, but again, like it's not the millennials. I guess it is in the sense because they're looking for the newest and greatest.
No, they're looking for the simplest and easiest, not the newest and greatest. Because like,
Let's
let's
not trash on millennials. Like technically,
I'm not. It's not like millennials, but I'm saying like, for example, look at it. Like Apple sells you the same exact crap year in, year out with less stuff in it, and everyone's like, like they eat it up like it's nobody's business. That's still going to be clipped.
But
for
they
comedy.
don't change the charging point. Remember that the charging port doesn't change.
You know what is it? Because work gives me an iPad, and now it like got switched over to USB-C, and I like lost my mind.
Now here's
I
the
was
thing.
like, whoa.
Now this is the best part because Apple has been refusing to adopt the USB-C on their iPhones, but every other product they sell has USB-C. But they refuse to do. It's apparently too hard or something. So now the European Union is telling them that they have to put a USB-C in their iPhone. You know what the best part about the Apple Lightning port is, whatever the hell it's called? It's actually a dumbed down USB-C. It's actually worse. They took a USB-C and just made it worse, and they're selling it to you for more. That's why I can't stand Apple. That kind of played. Oh man. Oh yeah, that's a good point too. Like KB's saying, look at our architecture, so boring. Modern architecture is bland and lifeless, like a freaking Apple store. Those places drive me nuts. It's just a white room with white furniture with people wearing white, and none of them know what the hell they're talking about. You need to order a genius from the back room to get you any help.
I guess you could say, I guess when it comes to Apple's design quality, I guess you could say the apple does not fall far from the tree.
The original Apple thing was supposed to be like the apple falling down by like Newton, sort of nonsense.
Bruh.
We've really gone on like logos and marketing and stuff the past few minutes.
You know.
So you can tell that our news points are done because we went off track.
Yeah, we're having some fun with you guys.
And yes, I have a particular hate for Apple. Like
I do,
like a legitimate hate.
I do too. So like professionally, like I'm an engineer, and like, going through engineering school, anybody that had Apple, we would laugh at them because like they would have to get virtual machines because like no engineering program works on Apple computers, like because Macintosh is crapintosh, as like we like to call it. So so like it's like a beef that all engineers have. So like we always messed around being like the non-engineers use Apple because they're simple and basic, and ha 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 ha.
So there is something great with Apple, and man, I'll give credit when credit is due.
We're not going to get sponsored by Apple.
No, I mean, why would we? We don't use any Apple products at all on this show. But
KB wants to smoke. He said, "I like Apple. Don't at me, bro."
No, that's fine. Like people, I mean,
smell-
you can like what
I
you
smell-
like.
I
I'm
smell
just giving you
smoke.
my opinion and my insight. So, not that I'm like a consumer electronic expert by any means, but I do work with electronic equipment. That's my trade. So I know things. I know things about technology. Essentially, is what I'm trying to say. And because I know technology and how to use it, I am more adept at being able to use something that isn't just like okay, so Apple, I'm trying to find the correct words to say this. Apple basically says that this is how you must use our stuff. It is super easy. Use it this way. which is great if you don't know really much about how to use this equipment, because you are put you were put down.
It's Apple, people.
Yeah, you're basically put down a one-way street and told go, and it's great for people. But if you take the time to learn the technology, or you're more of a power user, or you like making your own stuff, or just multiple different reasons, non-Apple is better. I'm not going to say Windows or Linux. Non-Apple is better because you are given options. You're allowed to have that freedom to use the device the way you want to use that device and modify that device how you see fit.
Yeah,
like in Apple, you can't even get that thing fixed. They make it so hard to fix some of their products that they pretty much force you to buy new ones. And now there is a multiple right to repair laws and lawsuits and a whole bunch of jumble going at companies like Apple, which will not let you use the thing that you bought thousands of these. It's ridiculous how much you pay for this stuff. And they're like, no, you can't repair that.
You know, I want to make this funny comment. So you want to know how cool the people that watch our stream is the fact that they're actually enjoying this conversation, not complaining about us talking
This
about
is-
you. Not
This is after the fact. You're
I know.
using news. It's done. This is Dave and Dash now.
It's funny because like that's the thing. That's why we love you guys, because it's just like I think you guys just love hearing us talk. No, but yeah, I always thought that was funny because like I don't think we've ever had like a person just come in here and be like, "Oh, your guys' segues suck." Because like think about it, like any good radio host or any sports broadcaster, we'll talk about like the news, we'll talk about the sports, the news and stuff like that. But you know, we got personification, we got personality. So like we're not like
people too,
just,
guys.
yeah, we're people too. We're not like two guys that just absolutely like, you know, shit on people's days parades about like crappy news articles and
Because you have an Apple, so I'm just gonna shit
Yeah.
on your parade.
so
Does
yeah,
eBay still have a Samsung deal? Not that I'm aware of.
they used to. I don't think they do anymore. See, like now even everybody in the comments getting in on this. They're like,
Yeah, the Apple. I love these. I love this stuff. But yeah, going back to KB, the UI is very user friendly, and Apple does want to keep it tight. That's actually one of the
That's what she
positives.
said.
Yeah, you got to do those Kegels, but if you can hold an Apple in there, so it's a good point because their stuff is more stable. Like I built this computer myself. I had to go through a bunch of mumbo jumbo to get it like to the performance levels, to the stability I want. Did I have to do that? No, but I'm a nerd when it comes to this stuff, so I did. But that's the thing with Apple. You take it out of the box, it's gonna work for a solid 2 years until they give you a software update that bricks your phone. Okay, so here, KB works in IT and uses both. So all right, I can respect that. I can respect that. You know, at least you're coming from a place of knowledge. What I can't stand are the people who are like that track. So Sam Adamo, if you listen to that cultural podcast, he was on our very first episode as well. He's on the Turn Giants podcast. He trashes on people that don't have Apple, but he doesn't know a damn thing otherwise. Not a thing about it. And it infuriates me because and that's him. He just goes on rants. His whole point is to piss people off on his podcast. Check him out at that cultural boy. Or no, not that the cultural cod pass. Oh my god. The cultural
Yeah, I was gonna
podcast.
say usually that podcast just goes like, "Hey guys, I'm sick of this. This is really annoying."
You want a podcast that talks about 5% culture and 95% like politics and comedy and just stupid stuff that Sam doesn't really know what the hell he's talking about. I mean, it's good entertainment. It's
So
good.
I want to shout out this comment because it melts my heart, low key. Sharif says, "I come to you guys because you guys are open to different opinions. We're not arrogant nor work for Juventus PR like other channels. I truly enjoy being here." I'm touched. But hey, no, I appreciate that comment because the thing is that's the environment that Dave and I want to bring. Whether we work for anyone or anything like that, this is an open space. This is a town square. This is a community where like we can all come on, talk about things, give each other's takes, and hopefully find common ground. Because again, Dave and I used to guest star on some other podcasts and some other stuff where you could clearly tell what direction the content is, and we didn't necessarily agree with it. So we kind of were just like, Dave went out and did his own thing and was like, "Hey Dash, I think you're funny. At least I hope he thinks that."
I don't think that's what I said.
Oh,
I just said I'm desperate and I need help.
But I mean, and that's the thing, because like Dave and I, when we were kind of like beginning to start working on this, because again, it was a learning process, and we're just kind of like, what is the one thing that we want our group to be? And we both agreed on where it's an open town square where people can just sit down and talk, voice their takes, relieve their stress, almost kind of like an internet bar per se, minus the the alcohol behind it. But
Yeah.
the thing is like we wanted to do that just because and I know it'll be tough once we get bigger, once there's more people that start pouring in here. It's going to be tough. But one of the things is one thing that we've thought about also, because since you guys have been our core supporters, is also incorporating you guys in the process, also of making sure that we keep the community clean per se. So like hall monitor slashes and all that fun stuff and being moderators and all that cool stuff, because don't worry, guys, we will remember all the names of all the people that have tuned in with us since the beginning. So don't worry, we got stuff for you when we get bigger. Don't worry about that.
And he can be like somebody in like the 2000s that was like, I was their first man. I went to their, I'm assuming people don't actually go to rock concerts anymore, but like I was their man. I was there before they got big, before they got the label. Those guys. But we're not getting any labels, I don't think. Andrew likes the Kegel joke. Thank you. I try. And then KB says that's why you'll jailbreak it. Yes, referring to apples. And yes, you can, but now you're taking a device that's designed for basically like use my device this way, and now you have to be a power user to jailbreak it to use the device not the way it was designed. So I rather just, and I'm a Google fanboy when it comes to Google phones, because and it doesn't even matter anymore, but they used to be the only phones, at least in Canada, that you didn't have to break the carrier service, so you can use on any carrier. It was unlocked right from so jailbreaking, unlocking, that's a different thing. Unlocking is from the carrier, so you can only use it on their network.
Yeah, it's funny. Sharif says you and your little brother trashing the show. Hey, so like he
Yeah.
tries to make me break character. That's why he does like half the crap that he does. Because like him and his buddies, like they'll be like, "Oh, hey, Dash is live. Let's go mess with him a little bit." So it's like for them, whenever they do stuff like that, they want to try to see if they can like get me to break character. But like depending on like how if
character,
like,
it's just you.
yeah, it's like I'm like,
No
bro,
character.
I'm unfazed, mate. You can't come at me like this, mate. You find me in an alley, you're gonna catch the smoke. But yeah, it's all good fun.
And KB back with he hates Android. I'm totally on the tech nerd stuff here. I hate it because Google does not verify much, and Google is just plain evil. They have turned very much evil, and they're getting worse. I agree.
Yeah. That's the one thing I'll give Apple props on, is they still respect user privacy to an extent.
To an extent. And here's the thing. It's no company is perfect. They steal off each other. So like, what's the difference between like an Apple phone, an Android phone? They've stolen so much off each other over I mean, after a couple hours of using it, they're like, okay, yeah, this is pretty much the same thing. It does. What are you doing on it? You're checking Twitter. Like, how many people are doing more than checking TikTok and Twitter? And they got this $1,400 phone in their hand, and they're going like, "Oh, look, I have an iPhone. I'm amazing." You're checking Twitter, dude. Nobody cares.
Who hurt you, Dave?
Oh, it's pretentious. Like it becomes a social status. It's like, I mean, if you're a tech guy and you know what you're getting, this is what you need to do what you want to do. Cool, but it was just like, yo, man, flex. Look at me. Nah,
that used to be Beats. Oh my goodness,
Beats is owned by Apple.
Yeah, like that was like like right when they got purchased by Apple. I used to work at a Best Buy that was right next door to a gym. The amount of times people came in trying to use their like Geek Squad protection on it to get new Beats, it was like, really? Like, oh my gosh, those things were like made out of glass. And my little brother says, "I'm on a phase, mate." All right, dude, go play with your friends. Aren't you hanging out with your friends right now? Like, why are you on YouTube? I'm about to put the child lock on it. I'm about to hack into his YouTube account and put like block not age restricted videos. But but yeah, man, I wasn't a fan of it. Beats were insane. And then Bone says the camera debris, Apple camera is not good. Yeah, Samsung absolutely craps on it, because I have the S22 Plus. We got like all of this stuff, but the camera on this is like freaking incredible.
So
like,
you know
I'm
what
not
it
gonna
is?
lie.
A lot of times it's almost, I mean, obviously it matters the sensor, the type of lens that you're using, but a lot of it comes down to the AI algorithms they're starting to use. And not even just that, headphones, for instance. Like I have the in-ear wireless Bluetooth stuff, and man, they do active noise canceling now. They do active pass through. They have what do you the squiggles? Oh my god, what do
I
you
love
those?
So this is funny. I love how we're
Sorry.
picking up viewers. The more we go into the tech
Oh, we're
stuff,
just
our
ranting, we're
viewer
giving people-
count is just going up right now. I
Nice,
think
okay, let's
YouTube's
roll with
like,
it.
hey, throw these guys on the thing. Like Juventus Benfica preview show, Apple, iPhone,
Apple iPhone,
BlackBerry.
yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
funny.
No, that's good. Let's roll with it.
And
But
then,
yeah, but the point I'm trying to say here is that it's how well the software is coded at this point. Like the hardware has peaked so high that you're getting marginal gains generation to generation. It's now in the software side that we're really seeing the leaps and bounds. And Google, for instance, like their hardware isn't great, but they have some of the best like AI algorithm. Like they are the AI people. They're one of the biggest AI companies out there, right? So naturally, their software on that end is better than the other companies. They just are working with worse hardware.
yeah, KB says if BlackBerry made a comeback, I am dumping my iPhone. Dude, oh
They
my
did.
gosh.
They
Remember,
did make a comeback and they failed.
Gosh, remember it was like back then, it was like 2006, 2007, where BlackBerry had like that phone where like you didn't have to push the same button 4 times to get a letter, and like you could actually like type properly, and it had like that ball cursor. Like, oh my
T9
gosh.
was what it was, the old style T9 text.
Yeah, it's like back then, back when I was back in the school grades and all that stuff, man, used to slay with that phone because chicks would be like, "Oh my god, you got the new fancy BlackBerry," before the iPhone, and then the iPhone came out, and anyone that had a BlackBerry was viewed as a peasant. That was probably the biggest shift, was like the OG iPhone, because like nobody ever saw a touchscreen before.
No, it
Like
was good. I was in between the BlackBerry and the iPhone 4. I ended up getting the iPhone 4. There's the only Apple product I ever owned. Android
think-
was very premature then.
Yeah, I think the most iconic iPhone, and don't at me, mate, is the iPhone 4 and the 4S.
Yeah, the 4 was pretty solid.
Yeah, like the 4 and the 4S were probably, that's it, like top tier, and then it just got shitty after.
Yeah, and I like how KB is now saying like Stadia, no thanks. I'm not saying like every Google product, like Stadia is dead now officially. It is trash. I
That
agree.
was a thing.
Yeah, it was their game streaming service. But it's like not every company hits. Like look at Microsoft. Microsoft clearly does very well for themselves. Whether you're a PC or Mac guy, I mean, that's something different. But
Not with Halo. Not the dumpster fire that's called Halo Infinite.
oh, the new,
Microsoft.
yeah, the latest one. That's something else. But the dumpster fire I was going to reference was the Windows Phone. I mean, they've been making all this hardware and software for years, and their phone just completely flopped. I mean, even when you're that big, you can spend a bit of money on failing and seeing, or perhaps sometimes, and that's the thing, how many of those projects work, and we don't give it.
I worked at Best Buy when they were doing that, and like nobody wanted that thing. They're like, Windows made a phone. And it's like, yeah, with Windows 8. Windows 8 was the most terrible operating system ever.
No,
it was
Windows Vista was.
We don't pretend that exists. Pretend that doesn't exist at all. But like,
Andrew, a Halo 3 fan.
That is, I think I'm gonna challenge you and say Halo 2 was my favorite. Pinnacle peak Halo was Halo 2. Halo 3, I think Halo 3 just had the wave of like the original trilogy ending, and that's why like it's a lot more nostalgia value. I think play wise, like Halo 2 is by far the best.
See,
just
because I never got into Halo.
Oh, Dave,
you gotta play I played the first one through.
You got to play the first 3.
It just wasn't my thing.
You got to play the first trilogy.
You know what it is? I don't like the games where you have like this plasma gun and you have like 50 plasma balls that you shoot at, and it's just this little monster deal running around, and you throw 50 plasma balls at the thing and it's just still running around. Like that's infuriating.
Yeah, and then he says Halo 2 had the dual wield needlers. Oh my god, I used to make so many people mad with that. Oh man, Halo 2 was so fun to troll people with, man. People used to lose their minds. But yeah, well, and the thing is like, hey, it is just that I'm always gonna say this. Peak gaming was 2001 to 2009. That was when games were made with the utmost best quality. Not graphics.
When was Modern Warfare 2? That was like
that was the last game. Yeah. Yeah, 2009, 2010.
Yeah, that was the last great first-person shooter.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, ironically, you bring up Modern Warfare 2 because this Friday, the
the
new
re-release
one.
or whatever.
I'm excited for it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna play it just
Oh, yeah?
because
I'll be playing FIFA.
2019 was pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie. 2019 was actually pretty good for a Call of Duty game, and then they like absolutely dropped two turds with Cold War and Vanguard. So I'm optimistic with that.
We
And
used it
then
with Metal Gear Solid and Final Fantasy, so you must be a PlayStation
yes,
guy hard, like hard PlayStation.
yes, and then what is it? Resident Evil 4 in that, or Resident
Ain't
Evil?
bad.
Yeah,
That
Resident
was
Evil.
that was a Wii game too, wasn't it? I think I
Well,
had it on Wii.
and then I believe it was like a GameCube game then too. But like I'm telling you guys, because like all of those consoles were making fire product. Like the PlayStation had their Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, all of their thing there, and then Xbox had Halo, GameCube had the Resident Evil, and they had Fire Emblem. Like they had, and they also had the Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. Like they had great like from 2000, like when that generation of games to when it died with the 360, the PlayStation 3 and the Wii, like that, like I believe was like a 10-year period. I think by far had the best games.
It
Even
was
the Game
great.
Boy Advance games, like the mainstream Game Boy Advance games like Fire
Those I
Red,
never
Leaf
played
Green,
either. Oh yeah, your
Emerald.
Pokemon. You got your Pokemon thing
Yeah,
going on
I got
there.
a full dude. I could do a collection channel about like all my retro collectives, and then like the Mega Man Battle Network series for Game Boy Advance. Like I honestly think like if you grew up, like if you had like a childhood memory from 2000 to 2010, you grew up in the best era of gaming. Nothing else will ever touch it. The graphics now are incredible, don't get me wrong, but the quality of campaign and the developers without the corporations getting involved in the developing process was like it was second to none.
Yeah,
Like
and I mean, you can still
EA,
you still do get some of it. So one game that I was completely blown away with recently was why can't I think of it now? Of course, off the top of my head, it was that Souls-like game,
Dark Souls,
Elden Ring. Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
And I
Yeah,
never
that
played
was
any of those games in my life, and just like the artwork, the storyline, the attention to detail in that game just blew me away. Or another one, and I call it the greatest Western movie that I've ever watched because it's that cinematic, is Red Dead Redemption 2.
yep.
So those are
Eh,
examples of modern games that can blow you. So it still exists, but nothing has ever got me like as charged as loading up GoldenEye for the very first, or for like the very first 4 days I played that game. I
Oh
lost
man.
my life the first 4 days of that.
Absolutely. That's oh, like, dude, you know how like that and like the classic Smash Bros on the N64? Like, have you ever had beef with your friends? Like, bro, I'm better than you in GoldenEye. Oh yeah, well, why don't we take this down to the basement and settle this in GoldenEye, where you played that one map and you just, oh man, ah,
Yeah, and Andrew coming out with the Skyrim. That's yeah. I mean, and that's 10 years old now and still hitting strong.
Well,
So
and
that's
this is funny
2012
because
game.
I had this on my desk because I was working on it, but I just refurbished a Pokemon Emerald that I found that had a bad motherboard.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah,
There you
I
go.
collect them. I collect those
You're
consoles.
the nerd in you just keeps on seeping out. I had no idea.
I'm an engineer, Dave. I
Yeah,
got a
but
bachelor's in I have
not
a
all engineers
bachelor's
do that.
I have a bachelor's in computer hardware engineering, so it's
Oh, it's
my
computer hardware. Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
I'm electrical and
Oh,
computer hardware. So like
well, you got good
soldering,
stuff.
repairing electronics and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's
That's
what I
my
do. I just don't
jam.
have the degree to be all fancy about
Well, I never learned it in college,
it.
dude. It's just YouTube videos.
Okay, well, he's still the engineer. Whatever. I actually took. See, maybe that's the difference. You learned like the in school, anyways. You would have.
I learned 80s welding in college, not the modern welding. They're like, hey, yeah, let's work on things with machine code and machine language and what is it? Assembly language. And then like they were teaching us C when like JavaScript and like C
Oh
was
yeah,
getting phased out and they were doing JavaScript and all the other
that's always
stuff.
how it is too.
I'm like
Like when
sitting
I
there,
was
I'm
in
like,
school, like I had this big to test the radios. I had this big thing with dials, and I had to read this like 6-inch thick book to figure out how. Finally get working in the real world. It's all digital. It's like press that button.
so my craziest project that I ever did, and this was when I was in college, it was my capstone project. So what we needed to do is we needed to do a voice localization. So what we did was we wanted to build a robot that had an AI inside it that like essentially if I said, hey, it would hear my voice and triangulate my voice and like approach me.
So you were
So
trying to create an Alexa.
It gets better. We took an Echo Dot, took it apart, took out the motherboard, and used the Alexa OS. We tapped into the Alexa OS. We put an Arduino board on top of it, and what we did was we used the Arduino to triangulate distance and position, and it would fire whenever we would say, "Hey Alexa," because that would turn on the Echo Dot. So we'd say, "Hey Alexa," and the thing would triangulate our voice, and then it would come
Man,
closer to our voice
that's
if it
pretty
was
cool,
outside of
actually.
range. Took us like a year and a half to do it, and Amazon was pissed. But
Of course.
yeah, because they're like, "Wait, you tapped into our motherboard."
Speaking about companies that
Allegedly,
don't
we
like
did.
messing with
Cool.
their shit, Amazon.
Yeah, I
You
was
do
gonna
not
say
like it.
because like we're because companies were looking at it and we're debuting it and stuff like that, and Amazon's like, "Did you tap into our board?" Allegedly.
Actually, and another one, since we're on it, Nintendo. They hate people modding any of their
Oh
stuff.
man. Whew. Dude, like even like for example, the thing is though, especially with these, so I'm gonna give you guys a quick little public safety announcement. When you're getting Pokemon games, be very as I throw it. Shit. Clip it. This is going on the blooper reel.
Oh,
We're clipping
man.
this. But the thing is so with these games, a lot of people have been doing reproductions on it, and the thing is the reproductions suck butt cheeks because they only have a finite life cycle because the breadboards that are
Well, it's
made
ROM,
from these
right?
and everything, yeah. Like, because what people do is they'll take the ROM, put it into a like identical motherboard, and they won't be able to because the motherboard won't last. It's just the way that Nintendo makes their stuff is just unique. But be careful if you're shopping for old school Pokemon games, whether it be Game Boy or DS, if that price is really, really cheap for some reason, it's a repro and it won't last. It will probably run for a couple of months and it'll die on you. They do that with N64 games too. So
Interesting.
quick buyer safety right there. Even though we've totally segued from Juve, but everybody still likes her tech talk. So
I guess we should have like tech talk segment or something.
I know.
I don't know. I mean, why not? I'll just say. So you guys know I listen to podcasts. So one of my things, and I guess they have the YouTube channel initially. It's another Canadian. I'm sorry, it's got to be a Canadian guy. But Linus Tech Tips. That's my guy. That's my channel. They have the Tech Link Daily 3 times. Yeah, Tech Link 3 times a week. They'll come in with like a 7-minute segment. Super good. Or of course, like Jay's 2 cents. And man, who's computer Jesus? What's his name again?
Dash.
Gamers Nexus. Gamers Nexus. Those are my go-to right there. Anyway. Okay, so that came to an abrupt halt. It's been an hour 45. I think that's a good time to move on.
Yeah, absolutely. So the one thing I'll say this, guys, so we're experimenting with taking clips and highlight clips of our podcasts and sharing them as individual videos. So to our Discord folks, if there's a clip or any segment that you think is cool or find funny, timestamp it and send us the timestamp so we can just rip it and then put it into a clip or something like that, whether it be a short or something like that, because we've been experimenting with it, because that's one thing that we also want to do is we need to get some non-live videos out as well. So because you guys also are awesome and watch our videos and probably catch something funny or catching us slip or catching us lacking, feel free to send us on our Discord chat and just be like, hey guys, clip the Apple talk or the Apple rant or us talking about tech and stuff like that, and we can just do a standalone video on it.
Or like that Kegel joke, if you like that. I mean, just when you hear it, just be like, oh, that happened at 53, whatever it was, and just like send a message. DMs to you, of course, on social media. That's your thing, or as it happens in the chat. Like if you just as it happens in the chat, just be like 47 minutes, and I'll just write it down somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, guys, we're nothing without you guys, and you guys are essentially one of us. There, put my hands on the camera. One of us. So yeah, you guys are essentially part of the crew, part of the fam. This is the Turin Giants community, and we want to try to get more people in the community. And there's only so much Dave and I can do on our own, so that's why we need you guys, and we appreciate you guys.
We're gonna make YouTube great again. Where's my red hat?
I know. Come in like Andrew Tate. Just we're gonna get this community together, and just want to say, what color is your Bugatti? Because the Turin Giants one is black and gold.
Oh man, Sorry,
Watch us get shadow. Watch us get shadow banned because of it.
No bans here. No bans here. We're good. Andrew, ciao ragazzi, forza Juve. Yes, of course. Ciao. I mean, we got to do more than that. We got to do it low and slow.
That's what she said. You're just looking at me make eye contact through the camera. Do it low and slow.
Oh man, that's why we have this screen.
Oh boy. Good thing we have this screen up because I'm trying to keep a straight face while doing the outro. Alrighty, guys. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share the clip. And then also, folks, if you got any mini tidbits or funny bloopers, just send it to us on the Discord and we'll be able to snip them a roo and do it for you. But on that note, big thanks to Adrian from Rabona TV for stepping in and listening to this show and giving us some Benfica stuff. And also, thanks to our friends that are always watching, KB, Andrew, Sharif, Yusuf, and then I'm sure everybody else. Oh, we had
Lars.
Lars was here. So we had all of you guys in here enjoying the show. So thank you. Make sure you invite your friends and tell your neighbors that the Turin Giants is coming. And not in a weird way, because I just realized what I just said.
Oh, we're coming hard and fast tomorrow, 10 to 15 minutes before the game. We are coming at you live for another watch along. Me and Dash. Woo! Let's do it. Tomorrow. BLD was here too. BLD, that's who was that?
What?
Bones?
No.
I don't know. I'm sorry if I missed you. And of course, thank you, Adrian.
BLT was my little brother.
Oh, well, screw that guy.
Sharif said BLD was here too. Andy came. Get it? Because BLD big.
Oh, BDL.
Yes.
Yeah,
BDL, not BLD. Was it BLD?
You wrote BLD. You meant BDL. It's fine. It's fine. We get it. We get it.
Did we have one?
BDL.
I'm
dropping stuff, guys.
This is probably the longest outro. Oh yeah, Deck Calcio Boy was here too. So also Alex, thanks for stopping by as well.
And thanks. I can't believe you guys are still listening to this. This is okay. Thank you. I can't believe you guys, but thank you. And we'll see you tomorrow.